Hi to all, it's Laura here from Space Within, and I'm coming to you this morning from a really wet but still beautiful Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens, if you don't know, is this beautiful hundreds of years old botanical garden in London, and I'm lucky enough to live about 10 minutes away from here, and I spend an awful lot of time here. Sometimes I meet clients here and we have coaching sessions, sat on a bench or walking. Very often I come here and work here in places like the Rose Garden if the weather allows, and sit with my laptop or do some writing. And other times I just come and take a walk on my own, take some pictures, or with loved ones as well. So it's a place that I spend an awful lot of time, and I love coming here. And I don't know if it's the northerner in me, but I love being here in any weather. So even on days like today where it's raining, as you can see, I'm still super happy here. It's a beautiful place with so much nature, so much beauty, and really, really special energy. So I had, for the last week or so, planned to come today. So it's kind of unlike me to have a plan like this, but today is the first day in probably months, actually, where I haven't had a schedule that I've needed to follow. I haven't had anybody that I'm needing to meet. I don't have any calls with clients or personally. I've got nothing that I need to do. And I love when I don't have anything to do, to just come and kind of wander and see the beauty, connect with nature, and see what kind of creativity and inspiration hits me, and also of course get some rest for my head at least. So when I woke up this morning, having planned to come to Kew, the first thing I did when I opened the shutters was see the rain. And the initial feeling I had was disappointment. And I thought, oh God, it's raining. I can't believe it. Very quickly, this is what I was thinking. I was going to go to Kew. What will I do now? Will I still go to Kew? I can't believe it's raining today when it hasn't been raining at all. And yeah, disappointment was probably the summary of what I was feeling. And then I sort of thought about it for a few minutes. And what I realised was that I wasn't feeling disappointment at all. As I said earlier, I actually love the rain. It's like one of my favourite things. I love the sound of it. I love the smell of the ground when it's rained. I love the fact that it's nourishing the earth, and that means that we're going to get beautiful flowers. What I realised I was feeling actually was shock. Mild shock, right? Like not dramatic shock about coming to Kew Gardens. But it wasn't actually disappointment, it was shock. And the shock had sort of... I told myself it was disappointment, and when I stopped and thought about it, I realised it wasn't. So I wanted to share that with you today because I've learned, I learned a long time ago that often feelings masquerade themselves as something else, and that sometimes we attach to the first thing that we understand it to be as a feeling, and very often it's actually not that. And shock in particular can masquerade as many different things. I just want to tell you a little story about this. Years ago, I was... all my life I'd been frightened of spiders, and I was travelling and going to, for the first time many years ago, about 10 years ago, to Australia. And I desperately wanted to go. It was a trip that we really wanted to take. And what I didn't want to do was spend my whole holiday feeling afraid that I would see a spider, feeling like I had to be watchful and anxious and careful and all of that. So I did, believe it or not, this amazing world-famous therapy at London Zoo, and it's for people that have got a spider phobia. So I won't bore you with the details of the programme. It was amazing. If you are afraid of spiders, or you think you are, then go along, because having gone in at the start of the day being pretty afraid, I realised that on a relative scale I wasn't that afraid. Some people were sort of agoraphobic and bound to their house because they were so frightened of spiders. By the end of that day, I and the other 39 people on the programme all held a tarantula. So it was an amazing programme that helped me eliminate my fear of spiders, and I don't have that fear anymore. I'm very happy to pick them up, and that, you know, I don't get afraid if I see them. But as we were leaving that programme, the guy that had led the programme said to us, when you go home, you're definitely going to see spiders. It's part of life. You will see them where you live, where you work, on the wall, in your car, in the bath. And today you're not afraid. Today you have held a tarantula, you've held house spiders, you've let them walk on your hands, so you're not afraid. You know how to deal with this stuff. But when you go home, the first time you see a spider, you will get a shock. And what your body will tell you is, your body will tell you you're afraid. It will say, oh, I'm frightened, there's a spider, nothing's worked, I'm still scared. But what your body is actually experiencing is shock, it's not fear. Because shock and fear at a physiological level can actually feel quite similar in terms of the body's response. So please remember that what you aren't feeling is fear, what you are feeling is shock. And once you get over that initial shock and realise it's shock, you can say, okay, I got a shock, I got a fright, but I'm not actually afraid and I'm okay. I can move this spider, I can stay in this room when it's on the wall. So shock and fear, for example, are very similar physiologically. And this morning I realised that actually shock and disappointment were really similar too. So what's the message? The message is simply don't necessarily, although feeling emotion is amazing and I'm a big fan and I often always encourage people to really feel into the emotion that they're feeling, sometimes it's something else. So you can think it's fear, you can think it's disappointment, but it's actually shock. So don't attach to the first thing. Get curious, inquire. Am I disappointed? Am I actually frightened? No, actually, do you know what? I'm not. I'm just surprised. And a lot of the time what you realise is with some of those more, and I say it very carefully, negative, because nothing's negative in terms of emotion, but those emotions that we associate a negative meaning to often aren't that. They're often shock. So just check it. And that might liberate you and free you up to actually realise that you are feeling something different. So this morning when I realised I wasn't feeling disappointment, I didn't have to have a big, oh, shall I go, shall I not? I simply put my clothes on and got my wet weather stuff, as you can see, and headed off to Kew. And the shock shook itself off really quickly, and now I'm loving the rain and having a beautiful morning here. And the bonus is that it's super quiet because there's not many other people that have ventured out. So yeah, shock and other emotions can feel similar, and don't attach to the first emotion that you think it is. Get curious and see what really lies beneath, and that will help you make better decisions and get a much closer connection to what it is you are really experiencing. I'll leave it with you there. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're in the rain, enjoy it. If you're not, enjoy that too, and I will talk to you soon. Take care for now. Bye.